Bang! And we are live on YouTube. Welcome to the Dugout, episode 94. Wow. That's crazy. It's crazy talk. Are we recording? We are. All right, let's drop the mic. Drop that music, DJ. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Episode 94 of the Dugout. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're watching live on either Instagram or YouTube, hope you like the decor. I guess on Instagram you can't really see it, but on the YouTube live stream now we got some decorations in the Dugout. We're looking good. I like it. We're looking like a real podcast. Got a whole little room. Got a little decorations. Shouts to Mama Ackert for the little shooty hoop board. Little Christmas present. Little surprise on Christmas morning. Who doesn't love a little toy? You know you're weird when you get a cigar humidor and like a Nerf basketball hoop. Those are like two total opposite ends of the spectrum. 70-year-old man and like 12-year-old boy. And I got all that wrapped up in one crazy little brain right here. So thank you for tuning in and dealing with little rants like that, right? That's what we're here for. If you're also watching, you'll notice I'm wearing my Reppin' the West Rams shirt, baby. We didn't win the conference this year because those stupid Seahawks, but we got our time for revenge when it actually matters in the playoffs. Rams, Seahawks. First game of the big Saturday. Was it a triple header? Yeah, and then a triple header Sunday too. We'll get into all that. But first, it's time for our advertisements. Ha! Not yet. We'll get there. But one thing I do want to start with is little moment of silence. Pour it out for the boys moment here. R.I.P. This is not a real R.I.P. I mean, it is. It's not a human. Anyway. Is Adobe Flash. One of the victims of 2020. Adobe Flash did not make it to 2021. It's a sad day. So, no Adobe Flash means no Farmville. Farmville is no longer. For everybody who was a big Farmville player back in the Facebook days when Facebook was cool, before TikTok, before Snapchat. Was that before Twitter? Twitter might have been around. Twitter was around in like 2009. But yeah, Farmville and Adobe Flash are no more. So uninstall Adobe Flash from your laptop if you still have it. Did MacBooks even ever have Adobe? They must have, right? I don't know. Anyway, so two more RIPs that will not make it to 2021 are Toshiba. Toshiba is no longer. That's kind of crazy. Anybody have a Toshiba TV still? Probably not. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why they went out of business. And then Segway. Segway is no longer. I think they're gonna make scooters now. I feel like there's enough of those scooters going around. I don't really think they need to do that. So I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, RIP, Adobe Flash, Farmville, Toshiba, and Segway. Those. Happy New Year. Happy 2021, everybody. I made the joke, I think it was yesterday on Twitter, maybe not the best day to do it. You know, you don't want to make light of situations, but I mean, because somebody's got to sometimes, I guess, right? I don't know. Maybe I'll get in trouble for it. Who knows? But I said, like, what if we read the Maya calendar wrong? And 2012 was really supposed to be 2021. And then shouts to Ricky. He's always good about responding to my stuff on Twitter and stories and all that jazz. He made like a little gif of that movie 2012 when like the world was supposed to end and like the numbers do like a little switch. Funny stuff. I don't know. Come on, people. We gotta. If you can't laugh about it, what can you do? Because sadly, I don't know how to fix the problems we're dealing with. I don't know if anybody does. Everybody acts like they do. They can tweet about it like they do. They don't though. I can promise you that. Alrighty, just spread peace and love, people. Dugout episode 94. Let's dive on into some sports talk. This is just cool. I thought noteworthy. It's kind of just probably just came across my desk on Twitter. Is next year's game, the Service Academy rivals Air Force and Navy. That game, they moved it to September 11th to recognize the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. So I just thought that was noteworthy. That's kind of cool. I know the Army Navy game is always a big one. So Air Force Navy, something cool. I mean, their uniforms in the Army Navy game, their uniforms are that's always a big. There's a lot of things that go on with that game, but noteworthy to say the least, right? All right, we'll start with the NFL because that's what most people care about, I guess, is football in America. So let's do it. First thing first. This is another thing I just thought was noteworthy. Is Bills Mafia, Buffalo Bills fans. You gotta respect them, love them. They won some contest. Fox Sports did, I think, for best fan base in all. It was whoever retweets it was a silly whatever contest, and they won. They won best fan base. Bills Mafia. Is that shocking to anybody? I don't think so. They're Bills Mafia. They break tables. They're crazy. They go to games in 3 feet of snow and it's 5 degrees out. Of course they're the best fan base. They've sucked. They haven't made the playoffs for 20 years. Of course they're the best fan base. This is not surprising to anybody. But so the prize. So they did this in college basketball last year, and I guess this is where they got the idea to do it in the NFL too. Fox Sports shouts to you guys. Ultimate Fan Challenge. And North Carolina won, I believe, the basketball one. But anyway, Bills Mafia won, and the prize is actually a pretty cool prize. The prize is a billboard of your team, your fans, anywhere in the country you want. So naturally, North Carolina is going to put it somewhere where Duke fans can see it. Bills Mafia, where did they put the billboard? 4 miles away from Gillette Stadium. And it got installed the week of the Monday Night Football game when it was Bills at the Patriots. So this billboard was there just in time. Wasn't there, wish fans would have been allowed at the game because then I think Bills Mafia would have traveled just to see the billboard and go to the game. Some people did. Some crazy Bills fans. I mean, hey, that's why they won the award, right? So it definitely happened. I don't know why I just talked about that for so long. I just think that's hilarious. And Bills fans, the Patriots have kicked your ass for 20 years, and you have the balls to put a billboard 4 miles away from their stadium. Granted, this year, is this year the only year that matters? Sure, yeah, let's go with that. But I love it. I'm not complaining at all. Not even for a second. Not even for a second. So, shouts to Bills Mafia. Hosting a playoff game, by the way. Who'd have thunk? So, let's jump in the NFL playoffs. Why not? Wild Sunday, last Sunday. A lot of games going down to the wire. Crazy finishes. Cardinals didn't make the put. There were a lot of... It was wild. It was actually fun. A lot of stuff in those 4 o'clock games, too. Or, is it 4 o'clock East Coast? I get confused now with all the time zones. But yeah, usually I feel like we don't get that lucky where so much is on the line in the fourth quarter of 3 different games on the last Sunday of the regular season. So that's cool. Not much more you can ask for as a fan. But this year, first time in NFL history, we're going to have 3 games each on Saturday and Sunday because only one team gets a bye now in each NFC and AFC. So we'll start with the first game. Why not, right? Rams, Seahawks, big rivalry, as you can't tell by my t-shirt if you're watching live. All old Rams logos for this guy. We won't get into that. As I'm looking at this Rams or Seahawks on my laptop, it has the new stupid LA with the little... It's terrible. It's a terrible logo. I'm not over it. I don't think I ever will be. I don't usually hold grudges, but we gotta change it. I don't know how long they have to wait for it to financially, for them not to hate themselves. Probably at least 5 or 10 years, but I hope 3 because I can't stand it. They put a screen on the roof of, what is it, Lo-Fi Stadium? There's a giant screen on the roof of the stadium. That's how much money they spent on that stadium. We can't change the logo? How much money does it cost? How much money did it cost to put a screen on the roof? Who can see the roof? The aliens? Is this for when the aliens come? They're going to, wow, Lo-Fi Stadium's got a screen on the roof. That's pretty cool. Who is that for? Granted, the only reason I know is because it was from the aerial shot, like the blimp shot, and you could see the game. That must have cost so much money. I'm gonna find out how much that costs. I'm not. I'm gonna forget about that. But all right, Rams Seahawks. Let's go into it. Seahawks opened up 4.5-point favorites. It's already down to 3.5. So if that tells you anything, that tells you that the pros, that the bettors, the money makers in Vegas are betting on the underdogs. They're betting on the Rams at plus 3.5. I am too. I already put $5 on it. I'm gonna wait to do more. I don't want to jinx them, so I'm not gonna. I'll probably end up putting more, but I want to do it before the money line drops. I think it's gonna drop to probably -3 by the time you're even listening to this. If you're listening to the podcast, day of, who knows? It might go down to 2.5. They don't usually move that much, but it's already moving, so that's telling you something. Another one that's moving is the Bucks. We'll get to that in a second, though. So Seattle's 3.5-point favorites. It's at Seattle. There's no 12th man though, or whatever they call it. Seahawks and the Aggies, they're all the same. They're terrible. 12th man. You didn't invent this 12th man. It's stupid. Anyway, they're not there, so it doesn't matter. So home field. I almost said home court. Home field advantage. Seattle doesn't non-existent. So why it's 3.5, I don't know, because they split games in the regular season. So let's see. I don't know. The one thing is Jared Goff broke his thumb. We thought it was dislocated. Turns out it was broken and he needed surgery. I don't know if it was broken and dislocated. I actually don't know that detail. But he had to get surgery on his thumb, so he didn't play in the last game. I think that kind of was credit to the Rams, though, that the Rams beat the Cardinals. The Cardinals aren't great, but the Cardinals were a playoff team. I mean, they almost made the playoffs. I think the Cardinals are better than the Bears, who made the playoffs. So they beat a Cardinals team that I think essentially should be in the playoffs by without Jared Goff and Cooper Kupp. And we saw how much not having Cooper Kupp affected them in the Super Bowl. Let's not remind myself of that, but they were clearly a different team without him. And they were without him and Jared Goff and still beat Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Isn't that the team that beat Green Bay on the Hail Mary? Who was that against? That crazy DeAndre Hopkins Hail Mary that I'm thinking of. So it wasn't a terrible team that they beat. So I don't know. The Rams have been spotty. There's been times, and I will admit it, people make fun of me. Jared Goff. There's times he looks great. There's times I will tell you, yes, he doesn't look great sometimes. He looks subpar. But I don't know, man. I got a feeling they're going to turn it on. I got it. I mean, the defense, come on. And Aaron Donald has success against Russell Wilson. I don't think a lot of people can say that. Russell Wilson's one of those people. I think I said it 2 weeks ago on Twitter. I was like, the only thing I don't like about Russell Wilson is that he plays for the Seahawks. That's the only, literally, if he played for any other team, he might be one of my favorite players in the league. But he's on the Seahawks, so it can't be. It's not how that works. The other thing is the professionals are betting under 42 on this one. So if you want to do that, go for it. I'm not going to because I don't trust it. Rivalry games in the playoffs, I don't know. Will it be a low-scoring game? Probably. But 42, I mean, so that's what, 21 each? I don't know. I could see a pick six and some scoring. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 26-23 or and so be just over. I don't know. I also wouldn't be surprised if it was 17-14. But it's right around that area, and that's where the line is. So that's what That's why Vegas is good at what they do. um, so, is that enough on that game? What else do you want me to say? Russell Wilson's really good. Their defense looks better. DK Metcalf's a freak. I mean, it's all stuff you're going to hear. It is the first game on Saturday, so that's going to determine how much football I watch all day Saturday. If the Rams win, I'm locked in. I'm probably watching all day. Actually, I might go snowboarding this weekend. This is to be determined. I can't if the Rams game's on at 2:40. Can't go Saturday. Maybe I'll go Sunday. Anyway, will probably affect my mood for the next game, which is the Bills game. Oh wait, no. Is the Bills first? Oh, I think the Rams just comes up first on mine because I have them as like one of my favorite teams on the website. Oh, so they just pop them up first. Okay. Bills Colts at 11. I could have sworn on TV they just told me that. Whatever. Maybe they were wrong on CBS too. So this says, according to the ESPN website I'm looking at right now, is Colts Bills is at 11 a.m. So maybe I should have led with that. I was already talking about the Bills. That would have been a nice transition, huh? Hindsight 2020. 2021. Didn't. Never mind. Oh, man. All right. So, Colts Bills is the next game. 11:05 Mountain Time. So, 1 o'clock Eastern would be what most people would say. ESPN just updates for me, I guess. Buffalo Bills, 6.5 point favorites in the playoffs. Who would have ever thought that? A year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years ago, nobody. Bills have been terrible for 20 years. So, there's that. The Colts. I think the Colts have a better defense than the Bills. Do we trust Phillip Rivers in the snow, in the cold? I think I saw a stat. He's like 0-4 in games when it's under 40 degrees or something silly like that. And it's going to be like a balmy 32 degrees in Buffalo. So, I don't know. This one's tricky. My gut's telling me Bills are going to win, but I kind of like Colts at +6. So, I don't know, man. Colts could. That's what I'll do. I'm going to hedge myself. I like Colts to keep it close, keep it a one-touchdown game, but I think I like the Bills to win. I just want the Bills to win. Who doesn't want the Bills to win a playoff game? I think these poor fans, they got to buy their own COVID tests. Oh, I said the C word. They got to buy these tickets. They got to be in the cold. Who doesn't want them to win their first home game in however long, 20 years? First home playoff game. And then, Josh Allen might even win the MVP. I think he should go to Rodgers. Really, probably Henry, but he's not going to get it. We all know quarterbacks always get it. He's probably going to go to Rodgers. Rodgers is just sitting at home. Nobody's talking about him. He's got to buy. And then the next game, I think has the greatest headline of the playoffs, and I hope that they can hold on. It's the Buccaneers and Washington. And somehow Washington's hosting the game. Washington is 7-9. I've always believed you should have a winning record to be in any kind of playoffs. Any sport. At least 500. You should be 500. You shouldn't have a losing record and be in the playoffs. I will stand by that, but that's not how it is. If you win your division, you get in. And Washington won one of the worst divisions in NFL history. I think people are forgetting that. And part of that makes me think that Washington doesn't stand a chance. But there's this emotional factor. This emotional factor that Ron Rivera beat cancer this year. That is crazy, and I don't know how you put that into statistics or money lines or factor that in, but you have to somehow. Then, let's add on, Alex Smith almost died from his leg injury and multiple surgeries. He didn't just break his leg, he almost died. And now he's playing football again in the NFL, and he's playing well. They're 7-9, but he's playing well. So you have a guy who beat cancer, and you have a guy who almost died from his leg being shattered in however many pieces. How do you not root for them in the playoffs? How is that not the headline on ESPN every day now until Saturday? Ron Rivera and Alex Smith made the playoffs. Maybe it will be when they win, if they win. I hope they win. I shouldn't have just said that, when they win. That was stupid. I want them to win. I think most people do, unless you're a Buccaneers fan. And if you're a Buccaneers fan, you're a liar. If you're from Florida, you're probably a Dolphins fan. And unless you're from Tampa Bay. It's a very specific fan base. There's no... And they have the Jaguars. But nobody's a Jaguars fan either. No one's a Buccaneers fan. You're either a front runner or you're from Florida. And you're from a specific part of Florida. And if you just tell me you're a Brady fan, you're even worse than a bandwagon fan. I'd rather you just be a bandwagon fan and like a trendy team than just, I like Tom Brady. Stop. Anyway, the Bucs are 8.5-point favorites. I think it opened at 7. It's probably going to go to 9. So most people think they're going to blow them out. Hot take here. I hope Kyle doesn't care that I'm going to throw him under the bus here. But he's putting his money where his mouth is, and I like that. He's more confident than I am. He thinks Washington's going to win by a field goal. I hope he's right. For all the tea in China, and for if I wanted to throw $10 on that, I hope he's right. Maybe I'll join the train with him. Maybe let's jump on. Let's all do it. Let's all throw $5 on Washington to win by a field goal. Guess what? $10 would win you $41. Seems like it'd be fun. Because we're all going to be disappointed if they lose anyway. And we're all going to be happy if they win anyway. So why not make money off it? And if you lose money, who cares? You're not going to be rooting for the Bucs anyway. So you lost $5 or $10. Who cares? If Tom Brady wins, you're gonna be upset anyway. So, I mean, you gotta root for Washington. You have to. The Bucs have way too much talent. They should win, but they shouldn't. They shouldn't win because they just went out and just got way too much talent. Added too much. They can't. It's a cheat code. I don't like it. Didn't like when the Warriors added so much talent. Don't like it when the Bucs add so much talent. Stop it. Okay. Let's move on to Sunday. Wow, we're really turning this into like an NFL podcast here, huh? It's the playoffs, though. I mean, what do you gotta do? It's crazy. 6 games in the first round. Never happened before. Ever. So Sunday, let's see if I can get these games in order this time. Ravens-Titans should be the first game. I'm not touching this one with a 10-foot pole. Not betting on it. Not thinking about it. I'll watch it if I'm not snowboarding. I have no idea. I have no idea. If somebody tells you that they do, they don't know what they're talking about. Because the Ravens could play like one of the best teams in the country. The Ravens could also play like one of the terrible teams. And the Titans, Derrick Henry might run for 3 touchdowns. He might not. I have no idea. Baltimore is 3.5-point favorites. I might like the Titans underdogs. But if the Ravens play like Lamar Jackson's the MVP, then I don't. So it just depends on what happens. And that's why we play the games. That's why we watch the games. Personally, I would not bet on this game. That's my advice. Is that a take enough? Let's move on. This is going to be a good game. I'm not like saying it's not going to be a good game. They're both 11-5. I just don't know what else to say. It's going to be a good game. Hopefully. I think most of these games are. Except for this one. Bears-Saints. Saints are -10. That's a lot for a playoff game. And I almost might take it. I don't think I'd ever bet on a 10-point spread in a playoff game. Or a double-digit spread in a playoff game. There shouldn't be double-digit spreads in playoff games. And that's why you should have to have a winning record to be in. The Bears are 8-8. It's not a winning record. I do believe 500 is okay. That's all right. But I'm pretty sure there were other teams in the NFC with winning records that we could have snuck in there and maybe had this be an 8-point spread. Saints are really good, though. Saints and Packers, I'm afraid of. If your team's in the NFC like mine is, Saints and Packers, they're good. They're really good. And Drew Brees needs another ring, man. I feel bad. Drew Brees, no one's lost more close playoff games. One of them was my own team. I felt bad. Like, it was... Nobody's gotten screwed in one playoffs than Drew Brees. Drew Brees should have another ring. And that would help me when I talk about Drew Brees and Tom Brady. I lean to another side. Most people do not. We won't get into all that today. But 10 points in the playoffs, Bears Saints, and it's almost like tempting. That's not good. That's not good for football. Why are the Bears in the playoffs? So, yeah, I'm not going to tell you to bet Saints minus 10, but I might. I'm not going to, but you could, and you're not crazy. Yeah, I don't think that's crazy. I don't know. Have the Bears been playing better than I know about and I'm not aware? I don't think so. Yeah, all right. We'll move on because I don't trust the Bears. I'm gonna look stupid if the Bears win, but I really just don't see that happening. All right. Then the last game on Sunday. So the sixth game, 6-6, first time ever. Have I said that yet? Is Browns Steelers. I don't know, man. There's like part of me too that doesn't like this game either. What team are the Steelers going to play like? Are they going to play like the 11-0 Steelers, or the Steelers that just went 1-4 in the last 5 games? I don't know. I guess that's for us to watch and find out. What do I think? I think the Browns have a shot, but I think the Browns are like the Bills. The Browns are going to do Browns things. The Browns are not historically known for winning big games. So, Pittsburgh -6. I like Pittsburgh to win. I don't know if I like them to win by 6. Maybe the Browns will keep it close and like lose off a double doink or something. That's how I see the Browns losing in the playoffs. Because that just seems fitting for Browns fans. That's like how you would expect. To like they're gonna miss a field goal as the clock expires in Pittsburgh in the playoffs. Like if I had to write it up, if you had to ask me like how the Browns would lose in the playoffs, the fact that it's in Pittsburgh makes it so much worse for Browns fans. That's my take. Is that a take enough for everybody? Did I give a take? I don't even know what I just said. I'd be surprised if the Steelers play like the 1-4 Steelers. I think they're gonna hedge more towards the 11-0 Steelers than the 1-4 Steelers. I don't know. They've been there before. They've done it before. Tomlin and Big Ben have won a championship before. Like I think they might know how to turn it on in the playoffs. Do the Browns? Do the Browns know how to turn it on in the playoffs? The Browns don't even know how to turn it on Monday Night Football. Granted, that was like the best game of the year, but they didn't win. So, you play to win the game. Playoffs. Those are like my 2 favorite quotes. Talking playoffs? I think I've even named one of the podcast episodes back in the day. Playoffs. Okay. Wow. That was the NFL. That was a good chunk. Wow. Yeah. That's the most I've talked about the NFL in a while. That was like 20, 30 minutes. Alrighty. Well, I knew we were going to be all over the place today, people, but I didn't know I was going to talk about the NFL for 30 minutes. But that's what you tune in for. Is it? Don't know. All right, so let's jump over to college football because the college football playoffs are also on. Big stuff, big football day, big football week. First things first. This did happen a little while ago, a week or two ago. I do apologize also I try to do the podcast consistently every week because that's how you make good podcasts. But holidays and blah, blah, worked 14 days straight through the holidays, counting New Year's Day, counting Christmas Eve. So, there we are. Didn't really podcast for a week or two. So I apologize. But here we are. Duke's Mayo Bowl. The Duke's Mayo Bowl. Does any, please comment. I know, please. Usually I just say comment, like, subscribe. If you know what Duke's Mayo is or was before the Duke's Mayo Bowl, I'd be shocked. I have no idea what Duke's Mayo is. And I saw, as this game was going on TV, I don't remember who it was, but somebody put out a poll on Twitter. It got popular enough that I saw it. Do you know what Duke's Mayo is? Yes or no? Or did you know before this bowl game? And it was like 78% of people said no. So, I'm not making fun of them because I didn't know what they were. It's a mayo. It's a mayo brand. I don't buy mayo. I can't even think of is Hellman's the one I would think of? But I always make fun of these bowl games because they have ridiculous names anymore. A, there's too many bowl games, and B, they have ridiculous, super long names. This one's not long, but it's a ridiculous name. But it worked. It really worked because I know what Duke's Mayo is now. So it actually worked fantastically. It worked exactly what you pay, however much money you pay for to have your own bowl game. And it was a fluke thing why it worked so well. And I don't know how this doesn't happen more often. If you haven't seen it yet, go look up the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Probably the first thing that pops up. They broke the trophy. I think it was the quarterback, dropped the trophy while they were dancing with it in the locker room afterwards. Now, it looks like he was just an idiot. When you watch it from one angle, obviously the videos went viral because all the guys were, it's 2021, whatever year it is. So they're all videotaping it in the locker room. And it looks like he just dropped it. Like he's just doing a little, and just boop. But no, it actually, when you look at somebody else's angle from their story, they were all in like a circle and he was in the middle. The thing popped off. They're like crystal ball on top. Like he was holding it. It looked like the college football. No, it didn't look like the college football trophy, but it looked, I don't know, it was like a stick with a football on it, a glass ball. And the stick just fell off. Or no, well, the glass, it just all fell. But it just popped off. I don't really think it was his fault. He's taking the blame for it. But from that one angle, and the other angle is the one that went viral, so he just looks stupid. But it brings up a question that I didn't look up the answer to. When's the last time that happened? People dropping a championship trophy. I've always thought, like, in the parades for the World Series, the Super Bowl, they're always drunk and holding them up on there. Like, how has Gronk never dropped the trophy? They're up there slamming beers on a bus, driving through the city. People are throwing shit at them. They're dropping candy on the, like, how do you not drop the trophy? I think somebody told me somebody's dropped the Lombardi once before and dented it. So, if you know the answer to that question, please. I'm actually surprised that doesn't happen more often. Heat of the moment, you're passing it to somebody else. I mean, your hands got to be sweaty. You just won a championship. I'm surprised. I don't blame the guy. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, the Duke's Mayo Bowl. That was fun. That was a fun one. And then they had a cooler. Sorry, last thing. They had a water cooler in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. They had Duke's Mayo on the cooler instead of Gatorade. It was next to in between two Gatorade coolers. So what do you expect to be in a Gatorade cooler? Gatorade. It'd be a little surprising if it was water, but like understandable. It's like, okay, it's just for money. They just wanted to have the Gatorade logo on it, but it's really just water. What do you expect to be in a Duke's Mayo cooler? I really was hoping mayo. But they go to dump it on the coach, and I was like, oh my God. Are they really going to dump a cooler full of Duke's Mayo on this coach? It was just water. That's so disappointing. How is that not disappointing? It's expected. Yeah, I expected it to be water, but I was also there's a little hope that they were about to dump a cooler full of mayo on the coach. That would have been a better story. You want to get some advertising. I mean, I guess dropping the trophy's the next best, but it's a way to go viral. Dump mayo on your coach. Whole cooler full of mayo. But you have to water it down. Like, hell, wow, that's made me gag. Um, oh god. Okay. Speaking of bowl games, other than the Duke's Mayo Bowl, I just kind of recognize this. I haven't even heard anybody talk about this, and I didn't realize it until I mean, I did, but I was like, wow, like the Big 12's been playing really well in bowl games, and I thought this was an off year for the Big 12. I didn't really think the Big 12 was that good this year. I wasn't upset that they got snubbed from the playoffs. I wouldn't even mention it really. But now, look at all the success that they've had in these bowl games. From my quick research, the Big 12 went undefeated in bowl games. That's pretty impressive. That really doesn't happen. I know because like in those bowl mania things, I've jokingly before, like the years when Baylor was good, I just picked all the Big 12 teams to win because I was like, there's 50 bowl games. Who cares? I'm not gonna get this perfect anyway. Win $1 million. So, of course, the one year I didn't do it this year. Oklahoma State beat Miami. Miami was ranked higher, 18 versus 21. So that's surprising. Texas kicked the crap out of Colorado, 55-23. So Texas did fairly well. I mean, they looked good actually. Texas is very hit or miss, especially in bowl games and stuff like that, big games. We all like to make fun of them if they choke, but I mean, hey, they got a new head coach. That's saying something, and they won. It's not good. Not good. Not good. Not good. OU kicked the crap out of Florida. And Florida was like people's sleeper pick to win the SEC and win the national championship this year, preseason. They didn't play like it down the stretch. They were 8-4. Well, now they are. They were 8-3. But number 6 versus number 7 is 55-20. Wasn't even close. And it's not like Oklahoma's known for having a defense. And wasn't that the game yes, that was the Kyle Trask game. He threw 3 interceptions. This was a Heisman finalist. Threw 3 interceptions against Oklahoma. This is my main point. And West Virginia beat Army. That's just a little bloop. And TCU Arkansas got canceled. My point isn't that the Big 12 is this great thing that nobody saw coming. That's not my point, because I really don't believe that. Do I believe Oklahoma would have lost to Ohio State, Clemson, or Alabama? Yeah. Would they probably beat Notre Dame? Probably. So, the bigger point, because I don't know, is that there's a flaw in the college football playoff. There's a major flaw. There's a terrible flaw that I don't know why they're not fixing. In a billion-dollar industry, is it with a B? I would think it's a billion-dollar industry. Why the 4-team playoff is still a thing. Yes, it was a good start for a year or 2 or 3 or 4 to just figure it out and make it 8. Why is this taking so long? Can we not make this 8 teams already? I don't see the cons in 8 teams. There's more games, more money, more fan bases would be involved. You would know in your head that your team has a chance all season long. I think the ratings all year long would go up, not just in the playoff ratings. I think would spike. Right now, you're losing giant chunks of the country that just don't even. The whole Pac-12. You lose the West Coast every year in the playoffs because their team doesn't have a chance at a national championship. You're losing the West Coast. It's one of the most populated areas in the country are not watching the college football playoffs. Diehard college football fans will, but hear me out. You would get all of those Pac-12 fans. And I think most people have little biases towards their conference. Even if your team doesn't win, you kind of as long as it's not your rival, you kind of root for that team to do well in the playoffs. Am I right on that? Big Ten people, I think, root for the Big Ten as long as it's not a team that they hate. You want because it almost makes your team look better when your team's conference wins. So the Big 12, you lose the entire South, not the South, but you lose the entire Big 12, not having the Big 12 in the playoff. At least have them in and have them know that they have a chance. All of the small schools, all of the Boise States, the Cincinnati this year, all those teams, you could get the UCF of a couple years ago. You could at least get them a hope. Make them the 8 seed and make them play Alabama. I get they're not going to win, but fan bases don't care. Fan bases would root for their team if they're in the play. This bugs the crap out of me that it's not 8 teams already. The last few years, I really don't watch the college football playoffs. I'm not excited for it. I don't know why, because you would think I would love it. Maybe it's because Clemson and Alabama are just way better than everybody else in most years. Ohio State looking good this year. I'll be legitimately surprised if Alabama doesn't win. Like I was saying with the Reds Washington team and the motivational, emotional side, I think Ohio State does have a little bit of that you can't quantify, whatever the word is for that. And Iowa State beat Oregon. I missed that one. That was a top 25 team. It just adds to it. The Big 12, wow. That's kind of impressive. I'm actually legitimately surprised. I wanted to see the line. That's why I was scrolling. Alabama, Ohio State. Alabama's 8-point favorite. Against a team that kicked the crap out of Clemson. Alabama's really good. Alabama's really, 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 really good. They had 2 Heisman Trophy finalists. I think I saw that's only happened like 3 times before. So, when you have 2 Heisman Trophy finalists, I think your team's pretty good. And they have a defense. No, they have an offense this year? Alabama usually has a defense. They have an offense this year. Man. Shouts to Nick Saban. Man. Alabama's had 3 Heisman Trophy finalists. Heisman Trophy winners. 3 Heisman Trophy winners in their history of Alabama football. All 3 have been in the Nick Saban era. That's the stat of the day. That's Nick Saban. He gonna be the GOAT. I always say gonna be because I always make that argument that I don't think we should crown GOATs until they retire, but it's just a little pet peeve I have that we just react to things too quickly. I've said that before. All right. Was that enough college football bowl game talk? I think so. Do I have anything else? Oh, yes I do. Devontae Smith winning the Heisman. Really cool stuff. 4th wide receiver ever to win the Heisman Trophy. So I really like that. And the talk in the past has been that we didn't think anyone other than a running back or quarterback would ever win the Heisman again. That kind of was the trend. So this bucked that trend. I think it's good. I think it's really good. I like that. I think wide receivers should have a shot at it. There's the argument that, well, somebody's throwing them the ball. But, hey, we broke that argument this year. And for the first time since 1991. So this is like, I don't know if this is a freak thing. Is that warranted? I don't know if it's a freak thing, but I'm going to date myself. It hasn't happened my entire life. I'm 27 years old. I've never been alive I was not alive the last time a wide receiver won the Heisman Trophy. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. I don't think people are making enough of a big deal about it. That's crazy. Almost 30 years. That's wild. That's it. Okay. All right. Little NBA update because that's regular season's going on already. Now it's January, so now I guess we don't have an excuse. But I think a little longer of a break, I think actually would have been nice. but they didn't want to miss out on the money for Christmas Day games. Do I think you should play on Christmas anyway? That's a whole nother topic. But let's give you some updates on the standings. 76ers are in first place, 7-1. Then we got the Magic, Pacers, Celtics. The Knicks are in fifth. They're 5-3. Don't get too excited, New York. Wow. Bucks are 5-3. That's kind of surprising. The Knicks beat the Bucks. I do know that happened. I don't know how. The Cavs and then the Nets. That's your top 8. That's enough. The Suns are surprisingly in first place. They're 6-2. I guess not that surprising. They played really well in the bubble, but Lakers are 6-2. Clippers 6-3. Warriors 4. Wow, that drops off quick. 4-4. Fourth place. Jazz, Pelicans, Kings, Blazers. Just outside, you got the Mavs and the Nugs, Spurs, Thunder, Rockets. That's surprising. Okay. I don't know. Does anybody else feel that way about the NBA that it started too soon? It's like we didn't have a break in between seasons. It's almost like it just... a little loss of excitement there. I've always said that about baseball season and basketball season and hockey season. They're too long. That's why the NFL is so successful. Less is more sometimes. Sometimes. I'm getting tired. This is the thing I wanted to talk about most is college basketball. Woo! It's hard with no commercial breaks, man. It's going live thing. Terrible idea. Thanks a lot. People told me to go live for my podcast. I mean, I did it all in one stretch anyway. So. All right, so college basketball will start. The net rankings released, so that's how you know we're getting into a good chunk of the season's happened. And it's time to start paying attention. Most people I know don't start paying attention until once college football is over here next week, and then the NFL will be over soon. I almost said soon enough. I don't want it to be over, but then people start paying attention to college basketball. That's when things really pick up. For me, picks up never stops. I was going to say picks up day one, but I pay attention in the offseason too, so whatever. I'm weird, though. That's not normal. The breaking news is Gonzaga and Baylor are really good. That's all you need to know. Really. If you're not trying to keep up with, be a college basketball nerd, they're really good. They're really, really good. And I'm surprised. They're like, it's not close. Usually I feel like at this time of the year, there's 5, 6, 7 teams, and you have like a shelf one. Shelf one's Baylor and Gonzaga, and I don't think it's close, man. KenPom doesn't either. KenPom thinks they're really close. 31.46 and 31.22 are their adjusted efficiencies right now. The next best, the third place team, is 26, Villanova. And I don't think that's surprising either for people. I mean, people are like surprised now that Villanova's number 3. Weren't they 3 in the preseason? So everybody like dropped them when they lost a game. Like, I try not to do that with my rankings. I try not to be as reactionary as others because I think it levels out. It's a long season. Like, yeah, Villanova lost to a bad team, but it's college basketball. It literally happens every single day. There's like that's why we like it so much. So, and then you're like, oh, they lost to so-and-so. Why do you still have them ranked higher? Well, that just happens in college basketball. I'm sorry. Yes, part of me, yeah, like yes, the results should matter, but also it's a long season. Like just because your team beat them that day, I still think this team's better. Even though head-to-head matchup your team won, yeah, if they're close, if I have you like 5-6 or 14-15, and your team won the head-to-head matchup, bang, yeah, you win. You're gonna get bumped up over them. But if it's like 3-20 and your team happened to win against the third, I'm not going to just make your team rank number 3 now. Maybe in a rare case, but that's not like normally how that works. Fan bases are weird, man. And people don't even really react to my rankings yet. I just know from listening to Gary Parrish talk about his daily rankings that people freak out. That stuff. How do you have my team ranked? That's how. Kind of common sense sometimes. I know most people don't have that, I guess. So clearly, look at our country. Common sense is a rare thing, I guess. Sadly. um, I totally lost what I was talking about. I am talking about cost. I mean, I guess I was just talking about Baylor and Gonzaga because that should be the main story. The main story, at least a week ago, and it always is gonna be for ESPN is Duke and Kentucky, and I'm gonna talk about it too. But that's you have to, even though they're bad. I mean, we're gonna talk about them all year long. They're terrible. This is a very weird year. Duke, Kentucky, even Carolina are bad. Carolina might be my exception of. I trust them the most, I think, out of the three. Kentucky, as we sit right now, is not. It looks like they're not going to make the playoffs. Calipari, not the playoffs, the March Madness. I guess the playoff. That's rare. That doesn't happen to Coach Cal very often. And Coach K and Duke, they don't look good either. Duke Duke is so high in the rankings right now. I don't know why. I do know why. There's a reason for it, and I'm going to give you the reason actually here. I have Duke ranked 33, and I think that's too high. The only reason I still have them ranked is because they're not playing. Duke's gone on longer suspensions than most. They've only played 5 games. They played their 6th game last night. Baylor and Gonzaga are 10-0 right now. Minnesota's 10-2. Like, Duke's played half the games of everybody else. So, rankings are weird. If you do them every day or every week, you'll learn this, that you really only drop teams when they lose. So Duke's kind of just been sitting there, ranked like 25th, because they're not losing. Other teams are losing and falling and losing and falling. North Carolina is one of them. North Carolina I had in the 40 spot last week, week 6. Week 7, I don't even have them ranked now because they keep losing. Duke's not losing. They almost just lost to Boston College by a point last night, which I wish they would have lost because then I could have dropped them out of my top 40 and I even had a question about it. I almost did it. But I'm like, they're not playing. How do you drop a team when they're not playing and lose? They're bad. Duke's bad. They struggle against Boston College. And I think part of it, I know part of it, Coach K wasn't there again. He was quarantining because a family member he's old. He's taking it seriously. I'm not blaming him for that. But his team is struggling for it. He's not around at practice. He didn't coach the game last night. He's one of the best, if not the best coaches of all time. He's not coaching his team. That hurts your team. And they're super young. And look, this year, this is a big story. This we talked about more. Young teams are struggling this year. Bad. Look at Kentucky. Look at Duke. Freshmen are having a hard time in 2020, 2021. I don't blame them. I am struggling. We're all struggling. It's 2020. This is weird, man. Weird times. They're supposed to be superstars on campus. That's how these kids at Kentucky and Duke get recruited. They have been told they are the best thing ever their whole lives. And they usually walk around campus like that. And if you went to college, you went to a school like that, you know that people look at athletes with googly eyes. And they love that. They eat that up. That's what they are. They're top 10 projected NBA players. Like, that's what they want. That's what they go to Kentucky and Duke for. To be treated like that. That's not a surprise. If that's coming off weird, I don't mean it that like. It's just true. We idolize them. They're big athletes. That's what sports is, I guess. But they're locked in hotel rooms. They can only see each other. It's like it's a really weird year for them, for everybody, and it's showing in results. I mean, they're not playing well. I don't know specifically what it is, but I know that that's a factor. And these teams that we're seeing, Gonzaga and Baylor, the older, more mature teams that have played together for a while, they have a vibe already. You can tell just watching them play. They enjoy each other's company. So I think being quarantined for them in a hotel is a little different than 5 All-American freshmen you shove in a room and say, be friends. They usually work it out at teams like Kentucky in past. We've seen it in a normal year, but this isn't a normal year. They're literally just stuck with each other. In a normal year, it's not like that. So it's clearly affecting them. I mean, because look at it. Kentucky's projected to not make the bracket right now. Duke is terrible. North Carolina's outside the top 25. They're outside the top 40 in most rankings. They're struggling, man. It's not a good year for the Blue Bloods. It's not. Bad. It's really bad. I don't know why I'm like getting so heated today. It's draining me though. I just want to check my notes real quick. So the net rankings I mentioned. The Must Bus. This is the opposite of the Blue Bloods. The Must Bus. Jump on, people. I don't know why everybody's not on the Must Bus. I've been saying this for years now. Years. Eric Musselman is the truth. Truth. He was with Nevada and the Wolfpack. He was the truth. Now he's at Arkansas. The Razorbacks. And they're good. They're really good. They were undefeated. They were 9-0 and not in the top 25. Just talk about things I get heated about. Why are people sleeping on the Must Bus? Arkansas is good. I don't know if they're going to win the SEC. I don't know if they're that good. But I'll tell you what. Tennessee's picked to win the SEC. I really like Tennessee. I've had Tennessee top 14, top 10 team all year long. I think I have them 8 or 9 right now. Arkansas was winning the entire game. The Must Bus, it ran over a nail. It hit a flat there in the fourth quarter and like final 2 minutes to go. And they lost the game at Tennessee though. So that's not even bad. That's not a bad loss. They should be in the top 25, and people would probably drop them out of the top 25 because they lost a game. They were supposed to lose. Number 8 team at home. You're supposed to lose that game. I'm not going to drop them. I have them way higher than everybody else. I had Arkansas number 12 before that game. So I had it 8 Tennessee versus 12 Arkansas. Supposed to be a good game. That would have been an upset. And Arkansas is good. They're 40 in KenPom. This is before this game. Not in the top 25 and 1. 24 in the net ranking. So at least they are respecting the Must Bus. 37 in the AP poll and 34 in the coaches poll. Wake up! Arkansas is good at basketball. I'm going to beat this drum until they make me look stupid if they go on a losing streak. I don't think they will, though. Arkansas is good. Arkansas is really good, people. And Kentucky's not there this year. Tennessee is. I'm looking for other good SEC teams in the rankings. Florida's good. I have Florida ranked 17, 21, 22, 26, 27. Their average ranking's 22. Florida's a top 25 team. Tennessee's the only one they got to worry about that's like a top 10 quality team. All right, another one. Another team people are sleeping on is Louisville. I'm hot on Louisville again. They lost a lot. It wasn't preseason. A little. Higher than most. Louisville should be in the top 25. Granted, I even have them at 26, 27, 28. So, their average ranking is 26. They're just outside. They're teetering. I get it. And they just lost a close one, too. So, I'm not beating this drum as hard as the other one. Why is this not in this year? I want this year, please. Can I find Louisville? 26 in KenPom. The only game they've lost, they didn't even lose a close. They won a close one against Virginia Tech. Oh, they should be in the top 25. They're going to be in the top 25. They're going to be my top 25. They beat Virginia Tech by 2. I was thinking they lost by 2. The only game they've lost is to number 4 Wisconsin. Number 4 in KenPom. It's not a bad loss. They really lost though. 85-48. But that was the game. I think they're undefeated with Carlik Jones. I think I heard they are. So the only game they lost to was the number 4 team in the country in KenPom, and it was without their point guard. Their point guard, by the way, he's on my fantasy team. He's balling out. I think he's the best point guard in the ACC. Definitely one of. He might be the. He's balling out. So people sleeping on Louisville. That's another one. Watch out. They're and the ACC's having a bad year. Duke, Kentucky, even Virginia's not as good as people thought. Louisville and Florida State right now are my picks to win the ACC. That's crazy. Virginia might still do it. I think they were the preseason pick team to do it. But if I'm Florida State or Louisville fan, I'm excited. On a year Duke and North Carolina, you have to take advantage of this. You, as a player, need to step up. As a coach, as a fan base, the fan base, I guess, can't. You're not allowed to be at the games, but, oh, that sucks for them. But it's good because you don't have to go into Carolina and Duke and play with the Cameron Crazies. So take advantage. They got to because this is your year, man. Gotta do it. UCLA, obviously, I've always been hot on. Illinois is a weird team to me this year. I wanted to talk about because the first couple weeks of the season, I was higher on them than most. Like, oh man, Illinois is the real deal. They're not playing bad, and the games they've lost, they're not losing to bad teams. They're losing to teams ranked in the 30s and 40s. So those are respectable losses. But if you want to be a top 10 team, you can't be losing to teams in the 30s and 40s consistently. Now it's not consistent. They were 8-3. I don't know if they've played a game this week already, but I just had to drop them because there are so many other good teams that have only lost 1 or 2 games so far. Texas Tech's like a rare example. They've lost 3 that I still have ranked in my top 14. I probably shouldn't, but they just haven't lost to bad teams, so it's hard to, like I say, hard to drop them when you're losing to good teams. So granted, I do have Illinois a little too low at 20. They're ranked 7, 7, 12, 4, and then that. The net's all over the place, though. The net's really crazy. Like, it threw off the averages of the other rankings when the net came out. But I don't know. So I'm not actually as low on Louisville as on Illinois as the ranking shows. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Rutgers, man, they were a story there for a minute. Rutgers is good at basketball. It's crazy. Texas Longhorns looking like the real deal. Shaka Smart. It's hard to. They've choked down the stretch in years past. I've said this in football and basketball. Texas is the worst, best team ever. They're always projected to be really good, and they always are not by the end of the year. This year might be the year they are actually what they're supposed to be. There is that asterisk. I think I've talked about it, and I've heard people talk about that. Shaka Smart's lost his leading scorer in the last 3 or 4 years, or 2 or 4 years. And when you lose your leading scorer halfway through the year, most teams get worse. There's a rare Baylor team that got better when Tristan Clark got hurt, but that's rare. And that's just Scott Drew doing Scott Drew things. Don't get me started. They got better, which is crazy. But most teams, when you lose your leading scorer halfway through the season, it's bad news. Hopefully that doesn't happen to them again this year. But Texas sitting in second place in the Big 12 right now. Villanova, like I said, shouldn't be surprising that they're ranked 3. I think they were ranked 3 preseason. They fell, but now they're back. Creighton. People sleeping on Creighton for some reason, too. They were projected top 10 team. If they returned everybody, they were going to be like a top 3 or 4 team. I got Creighton 7. Gary Pierce got him 6. Ken Palm 15. Okay, so people really aren't sleeping on him. AP poll 7. Coach poll 5. Nice. All right, cool. We're on the same page about Creighton. Creighton's the real deal this year, people. When you go to make your brackets, I don't know. If they're still top 5, top 7 team, top 8 team, they're going to be a 1 or 2 seed, so they're properly rated. That's what I'll say. They're not going to be overhyped. They're going to be underhyped. If they're a 2 seed, they're going to be properly rated. So that's going to make that tricky. Because I don't know how deep they can go. It's a 2 seed. It's like 3 seed, I'd be like, man, that's a steal. 1 seed, 2 seeds properly rated. Okay. Big Ten. Don't want to start the Big 10, Big 12 argument right now. Not really. um, how do I do the conference ratings real quick? Game home court. I know there's a way to do the conference ratings. Okay, there we go. Okay, Big 10 is still rated better than the Big 12 and Ken Palm. 18.8 and 17.9, so it's close. And then the ACC is way down at 14. So there's a gap. Like there's a gap at 1 and 2 in the team. There's a gap at 1 and 2, and then the field in the conferences too. There's no doubt that the Big 10 is deeper than the Big 12. I will not even try to argue that. That's clear. There's also just more teams in the Big 10. The Big 10 has 14 teams in the conference, and the Big 12 has 10. Don't get me started on that. We need to rename the conferences, but I'm going to count real quick. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, I was right. 14. 14 teams in the Big 10. I just think the top of the Big 12 is better than the Big 10. And I don't think that's close. As of right now, at least. Michigan is starting to look like the real deal. They're 10-0. And I think should be higher in the rankings, even in my rankings. But they started outside of the top 4. So it's just, they've been climbing, and it's, you look at the 10-0 and you think that they should just be ranked number 3 right behind Gonzaga and Baylor, but it's just not that easy, I guess. Illinois, like I said, they're second right now Right now, 1, 2, 3 for the Big 10 is Michigan, Illinois, Iowa. And right now for the Big 12, it's Baylor, Texas, Kansas. Those are all top 10 teams in the Big 12. And in the Big 10, that's who's the best. Iowa is 6, 7, 9. All 3 of the top 3 teams in the Big 12 are ranked higher than the highest ranked Big 10 team. So, why is everybody on this Big 10's the best thing ever bandwagon? When the third best team is better than the best team, I don't know. I want to go out on the limb and say the Big 12 is better than the Big 10 this year. I don't know yet. We'll see. Maybe the Big 10 is just beating each other up too bad. I certainly will say it's better at the top. I don't know. Once you start getting down to 4, 5, 6 in the Big 12, you're probably right. The Big 10 might be better. It is better. So, I guess it depends how you look at the conferences. The conference as a whole, the Big 10's better. But at the top, that's what matters, is the best teams in your conference. That's what's going to matter coming down the stretch. What teams make the better run in March Madness is your best teams in the conference. Usually, I guess. That's March Madness. You never know. So, I don't know. I just had to throw that out there because the talk is all Big 10, Big 10, Big 10. Best thing ever. It's really good. They were last year. They were the best. This year, I think it's a little closer. Is that enough for today? I think we did a full hour today. So it happens when you take a week off, 2 weeks off. A lot to get to. I think Syracuse won again. They've dug out 36. 30 in Ken Palm. They're creeping up. I think they're 7-1. They're 6-1 on Monday. Michigan State's another one that's bad. It's usually a blue blood. Oh, Oregon was the team I also want to talk about. Oregon's sneaky this year. Even I'm sleeping on them at 21, 22, whatever happened, 20, 22 on Monday. 16 in Ken Palm, 17 in AP, 15 in Coaches Poll, 25 in the top 25 and 21, sorry. 19 in the net. It's not that we're sleeping on them, because I think that's where they are. And all year they've been sneakily in that 15 to 20. They're sitting like right at 20 all year. Now they're creeping up a little. I just don't think anybody's talking about them. I don't know if it's a Pac-12 thing. Because in the Pac-12, we kind of want to... Oh, UCLA was a sleeper in the beginning of the year. Arizona's like the safe bet. They're not as good this year, but, it's still Arizona. I think they're 9-1, or they might even be 10-1 now. As of Monday, they were 9-1. They're ranked lower than Oregon, but I don't know. Oregon's just like a sleepy top 15, top 19, 20 team right now that, like, nobody's talking about. Like, even me, I'm a little scared. They're 12 in the AP and coaches. Why don't I have them in the top 14? Oregon's freaking me out. I don't know. I gotta watch some Oregon games, and we gotta see when they start playing some real deal teams. They might be a team to watch, man. They're 14 in KenPom. They just don't have any. They do have a couple good. So they lost to Missouri the first game of the year, who was ranked 49. They beat Seton Hall, 50. These are KenPom rankings, and they just beat Stanford on Saturday, who was ranked 41. So here they're coming up. They got a top 20 matchup against Colorado Thursday. Oh, it's tonight. Oh, this is a game to watch. Let's see, fan match. What is that? Is that the best game of the night? Nope. Iowa, Maryland is 5 versus 46. How is that better than 14 versus 20? Okay. Oh, by what? By not even by by 0.2. Thrill score on KenPom 77 for Iowa, Maryland. 76.8 for Oregon, Colorado. Two good games. Oh wow, the Oregon Colorado game's on early. Usually the Pac-12 games are on so dang late. The UCLA Arizona State one is 10:30 East Coast, 5 p.m. East Coast, so 3 here. Oregon, Colorado. Whoa. Cool. So if you're listening live on time, that'll be on. If you're listening to the podcast, those will probably be over by then. All right, people, let's get out of here. That was a fun episode. That was a long one. Hour 12 minutes live stream says. Thanks for tuning in on Instagram and video. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. Appreciate you guys. It's always been fun. Hope you liked it. Oh, no, I didn't. Well, I guess you wouldn't want to see it on there anyway. I wanted to close out the podcast with a little shot. Dave's Dugout. We got these, baby. Boom. Oh. I did do 2 practice shots, in fair warning. I was going to go cold, but I was like, nah, I got to get one in. So, dang. That was close. All right, well, maybe we're going to make that. And help me think of ways to make a bet or something fun we can do at the podcast on makes and misses on that shot. We can start and end the show on that sometimes. So, all right, peeps. That was an episode. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening. If you're listening on the podcast, like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and we'll be back next week. Bye.